Welcome, Tia Haynes. This is
Hi.
we want to do a quick interview with you, and just not to spend too much of your time, but just to introduce you and some of your plans for Prune Juice to the audience. We got hundreds of people who are involved with we'll be notified immediately when we have our put it up on YouTube. But more than that, we'll get it out to about 1,500 people. So hopefully we'll they'll know who you are. I first question I have for you is, who is Tia Haynes? What do you do? Where do you live? What's your life like?
So I am from Cleveland, Ohio, and the wonderful state of Ohio where all the wonderful haiku people live. There's a lot of us. No, I am a stay-at-home mom to two wonderful little girls. So the majority of my life is now actually homeschooling, thanks to COVID. But I really am enjoying it a lot. So that, and then I am a haiku poet, a senryu poet, haibun poet. But that's the majority of what I am, is a mom and a poet at this point in my life.
Fantastic. Where have you been published? Just to fill people in who aren't familiar with you.
Sure. So I've been published in Frog Pond, the Haiku Society of America's journal, the Heron's Nest, wonderful, amazing online journal. I've been published in Modern Haiku. I've been published in several different anthologies, like the Red Moon Press anthology that comes out. There's a anthology every 2 years called New Resonance, and I was featured in one of the New Resonance 11. I've been published in Failed Haiku. You were actually my first publication credit, was Failed Haiku. So, you could say I got my start writing senryu. So.
Fantastic. And Prune Juice, of course.
Well, yes, I have been in Prune Juice a couple times. I have to say, very hard to get in for me. So when Brent approached me about becoming the next editor, I kind of had this moment of, are you sure? But Julie Warther told me she had the same experience with the Heron's Nest too.
Oh, Heron's Nest is one of my favorite places.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the I used to have every issue of the print issues. I've given away most of my library when I retired, but and online now it's like it's like Prune Juice, and has become, it's like a receptacle. There's so many good people there. But in terms of editing Prune Juice, you're following Alexis Rotella, Liam Williamson, Terry French, my good friend Steve Hodge. Terry's a good friend too. And of course, Brent. He calls me Uncle Mike, so I guess he's my nephew. But that's a little bit daunting. But how do you view taking on the editorship of something that's this established in the community?
You know, it is really quite a thrill to get to do something to this, of this magnitude. It's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to getting to know the contributors in a different way than just being friends on the other side, but getting to be an editor and knowing contributors that way. I'm very excited to get to discover new talent as well. Brent and I had that discussion of, you know, it's like curating a gallery. You're looking to showcase the best of the best and to support some of the best of these upcoming new people. So I'm looking forward to getting to sit in the editor's chair, but I'm really looking forward too to getting Prune Juice more out there on Twitter and hopefully Instagram, and more out on Facebook. And kind of, you know, Brent really worked hard on creating this website that's a great website, and doing the 10th anniversary edition that he came out with. But I'm really looking forward to then pushing things out more into social media.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. You're absolutely correct, because I think people sometimes underestimate. first of all, online journals in general, they used to be asterisk. You know, they say, oh, well, you were published online. Like, not so much
Right.
anymore. When Heron's Nest moved to the internet, that sort of legitimatized it in a different way. But I think now it's you hit on on internationalizing senryu and
Mhm.
haiku in English. So what specifically are you thinking about in terms of doing with say Facebook and Twitter and any of the other online venues? Even Instagram, I think, is starting to head that way.
Yeah, Instagram is starting to come up that way too. The first thing I know I'll be doing is I am getting the privilege to nominate for the Touchstone. Brent has given me the opportunity to go back through the 2 issues, not including the anthology issue, but the 2 issues from this year, and choosing Touchstone nominations. So I'll be able to promote that on Facebook, and I think that would be an easy thing to promote on Instagram as well as on Twitter. I'm hoping to start up maybe something. I've seen a lot on Twitter of people doing writing prompts, getting people writing, and I would love to do something like a Senryu Sunday and put out a prompt and get people going and start encouraging more people to write the form, get people noticing the journal even more than they already do. Sort of the first couple thoughts that I have coming to mind.
You might guess that I'm heading toward YouTube. Are you thinking of that too?
I don't know. That would be kind of exciting to go in that direction. I'm not sure. There are so many possibilities for this, and I'm really looking forward to kind of taking those step by step and seeing what comes next and where I can go with all of it.
I like the reason I like YouTube, and we're in the same we're synced up on this. It's an international thing, and Senru is
Mhm.
so beautifully tuned in uh, to what's happening in the world. Uh, that it's so easy to touch people, but I like to do interviews. I'm going to try and do more of these things where I introduce people and poets. The other thing is you can put a dozen people or 30, 40 people on YouTube if you've got a good internet connection. I don't always. And stick them on. But that's a big part of it. But getting onto social media and putting faces out there and bringing it.
Yeah,
You have readers where have you looked and seen the geography?
all over the world, from Saudi Arabia, India, Macedonia, all over the world are people who are part of this beautiful journal. And I look forward to more and more people from around the world getting to know this form and getting to appreciate and write it themselves. I want to get more and more people writing it. I mean, there are a lot of people who do, but there are untapped talents out there just waiting to start writing.
Africa. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
I even have a couple of people who sneak in their uh, submissions from China. That's hard to do. Yeah, you got to be a geek
Really?
to do it, but it's
Yeah.
it's pretty phenomenal. And I think that's one of the things that if you get into this with social media, that's how you reach these people. That's why, as much as I love print and I revere it,
Hmm.
I think we have a unique ability, it's particularly in center, to get out and see people all over the world.
I agree.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What besides social media, what do you look for in center? Do you have some favorite definition? Are you going to try and define it in a way, or just leave it open for people in terms of the submissions that they put in?
Yeah, at the moment I don't want to put a firm definition around it because it can encompass so much. I feel like a formal definition or a short formal definition might box people in too much. But I am looking honestly for a wide variety. I am looking for that sharp wit, that humor that it's known for, but I'm also looking for things that are quite poignant, touching on the current events, things that are going on in our world today and need to be addressed. Women's rights, transgendered rights, climate change. There are so many things that can be addressed that there is a perfect home in senryu for that. And I want to encourage a wide variety in terms of submissions.
Absolutely. I think too that if you start to put boxes around it, my thing is I want to be there's a circle. It's everything that could possibly be a senryu. And in the center, there's always people who write about it, talk about it, do it. But I want to see people say, aha, I want to see them surprise me and tell me what
Yeah,
a senryu is. It's different in the different places in the world. And
it is. And that's the other part of it. There are different, so many different ways of looking at the world, so many different cultures. It would be hard, I think, to have a firm definition that would allow everyone to express the totality of who they are inside of that definition.
without tipping your hand too much, but I've those people who have been in senryu for a long time. Who are some of the people that you look to for guidance, or you find particularly enjoyable for you to read?
So a few of the people who I really look toward would really be like Joe McKeon and Julie Warther,
Mhm.
Julie Warther. But she, for me, I mention her name a lot because she's like my haiku mom. When I started writing, it was I was at the library with my kids. I saw a notice in the library bulletin about a haiku group. And I thought, well, that's an interesting thing. I should do something besides being a mom. I showed up one day and it's Julie Warther running this haiku group. I had no idea who I was in the presence of. Elliot Nicely, Joshua Gage, Joe McKeon, and lots of, if you don't know them, go look them up. They're wonderful, wonderful poets and wonderful people.
And if you want to find
Um,
them, you can find them in past issues of Prune Juice all over the internet. They're all there.
yes, you can.
Julie is a favorite of mine. She is a wonderful Renge poet. She's written with some of
Yes.
the best people. And is there anything in terms of forms? I assume you're going to continue the relatively broad scope,
Mhm.
haiga, haiben, etc.
And including Renge and encouraging people to continue writing linked forms as well. Um, I want to keep encouraging and possibly even branch out maybe into the charita realm as well, and with a senryu twist. I like to write charita myself, and so that's kind of near to my heart. And keeping it all within the same flavor, but welcoming new forms too.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in sync with you. Things like found haiku, even poem work.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I hate to say it, and some people give me a small argument, but I think you can have a 3-syllable poem word that's a senryu and a heck of a good one. You got some writers who do.
I think that there are some amazing things that can be done. And once again, it's that I don't want to put a box around it. You know, I hope that even on our website, there are listed the different forms that people could submit.
Mhm.
And I might change the guidelines somewhat, but if people have done something and they're not sure if it'll work, I want them to send it my way. And, you know, don't shy away from experimental stuff with me.
Cool. Uh, you know that one of the reasons I started Failed Haiku was just simply because I was inspired by Prune Juice. And Steve Hodge and I used to hang out. We were both Michigan boys. We got a big Midwest contingent lately here in
Yeah.
Prune Juice, but we used to hang out together, and uh, we started collaborating. And that's one thing I want to tell you. Anything I can do to help Prune Juice, which got me here. Uh, Terry French was fantastic. She published some of my experimental Hyben. and Brent and Steve. I mean, it's been a fantastic thing. And Alexis, she is, I tell people, my Roshi. I look at what she does, she and Alan Pizzarelli, what they did for Senryu, and they've done it not since last week or last decade, but for several decades now.
Yes.
And and I think somebody had to discover Alexis Rotilla. I don't know who it was, but I'll bet you that's a good one. I might interview her someday and ask her, how did you get into this? But she was instrumental. So you've got quite a bunch of shoes to fill, but I think you're going to
Yes,
be
I do.
fantastic. I was excited when Brett told me you were his choice. So, and
Oh, good.
you're a friend of my new editor, Brian.
Yeah, Brian and I actually write a lot of Renge together.
I know, and
And
he is a monster fan.
I'm a
So
huge fan
I'm
of
sure
Brian's.
we can collaborate on a lot of things together.
I hope so. I hope that we can.
Yeah, anything we can do to help Prune Juice, because I wouldn't be here writing senryu, and I'm pretty addicted to it. I used to write 75% haiku and 25% senryu. Then I went 50-50, and now I'm 75% 25 again. And I'm thinking that this is really where I was meant to be, and I'm glad you feel the same way.
That's honestly, I think, about how I write too. It's probably just about 25% haiku and the rest is senryu or other forms at this point.
It's addicting. It's just,
It really is. And I think it's just, I clicked with it right from the very beginning. It's kind of how I started, just cataloging my life and what was going on. And it just sort of continued on down that path. And I love haiku. I mean, I love it. But I really have my heart in senryu.
yeah, there's just something about it, because you can express anything about anything. You can talk about any topic. Roberta Beery is one of my favorites, because Roberta will tackle anything. I swear to you, there's no topic off bounds for her. And I feel like she was another inspiration for me in terms of Haibin and senryu. She put that together for me. But there's so much out there that we can sort of bring to this, and you're right. Things like I'm when it comes to any form of discrimination, any form of I just can't tolerate it. A great way to bring
Right.
people together is senryu, because there's a smile from anyone. You can get people to see things in a different light. It's strange. You can do it better in 17 syllables than hollering at them for 30 minutes.
I think you can, though. I think that you can change minds. I think you can connect and have people understand a reality other than your own.
Yeah.
Through doing this, and it doesn't require that many words to do it.
And one of my favorite quotes is by Alan Watts. He said, "You are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago."
I love that. I love that a lot.
But Tia, this is fantastic. I'm so glad that you're here and that Prune Juice is in your hands, and anything we can do. And just for, I'm going to put underneath this on YouTube the link, obviously, to Prune Juice and the submission page and everything else. But welcome to Prune Juice. You're in a great place, and you have a great history. And I'm sure Alexis Rotilla, when she first started it, didn't suspect this many years later it would pass through so many different good editors and be what it is. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity.